Hi-ho, Code Bros. It's Ed from my Bring Back, and today we're going to continue our adventures in using Python from the command line. And you might say right off the bat, what the heck are you doing, Ed? This is not something we've seen before, and this may not even be software you have installed. This is Notepad++. It's a text editor, and it's got some nice features for creating scripts. Mostly syntax highlighting is why we're going to use it for these videos. So I'm going to be composing today's script within this Notepad++ environment. This thing's available for free on Windows, and I kind of like it. But if that's not your style, that's fine. You can keep writing scripts within that, idle editor. You can do it just in Notepad. If you're feeling like a boss, you can do it in Vim, and the options abound. But we're going to use Notepad++ today. Go ahead and grab it for yourself if you like. Otherwise, follow along in the editor of your choosing, and let's learn about command line arguments in Python. Alright, so when I say command line arguments, what I'm talking about are the things that we would pass to Python when we run it from the command line. So the argument we passed Python in this example from the last episode was just that shell test.py. Additionally, I can pass other arguments after that and run it. Now you'll notice that old shell test.py, which all it does is print a single line, doesn't address the other arguments at all. There's 2, there's red, there's 7, none of them get touched. And to touch those arguments, we need to import a module. That module is called sys. So I'm going to start my script with that phrase right there, import sys. And the thing that you need from sys is called argv, and that will show us the arguments. So we will go ahead and, just to begin with, print the arguments. We'll say print sys dot argv. And some of you are saying, Ed, I have a longer memory than you anticipated. You told me there would be syntax highlighting within this editor. Everything is just white. I feel lied to. I say, well, hold on a second. Once we save the file here, and let's go ahead and just go put it in our documents folder loose, and we're going to give it the name args dot. Well, let's not give it any extension by ourselves. Let's go ahead and select an extension from the big old drop-down list here. Make it a Python file, so args.py. We'll save it in there, and look, highlighting occurs. So our keywords have become a sort of golden hue. Let's go ahead and run this thing. So I'm going to change directories within my shell using this cd command to the documents folder, and I'm going to run Python on args.py, and I'm just going to pass it some arbitrary arguments. And so what it did is it printed them out, and if you are watching close, and you remember from previous videos, that's list notation. Looks like we've got this listed, well, listed in a list here. And it's given us 4 things in response. So let's pay some attention. We tacked 3 things on, but the 0 item in this list, the first position here, is args.py. And so it's showing us that we called from the folder we're calling it in that file, and then the other 3 arguments. So the length of that should be 4, and if we want to use one at a time, we'll need to separate them out. One particularly sort of sensible way to handle this is to assign those arguments to a list of their own. So we'll say arglist equals sys.argv, and then you can engage them individually. So we can say print arglist 0. Or you could do something with a loop, so you can do for I in arglist, and we got to keep our capitalization consistent. Print I. And you'll notice, because I haven't set it up, I haven't configured it, when I made a new line after a colon, it didn't automatically indent for me, so I used 4 spaces. And always use spaces instead of tabs in Python to save yourself a headache. But let's save this thing, and let's run that same command we ran previously again. Okay, so we printed item 0 like we told it to, and then we went through and printed each item in the list. So args again, because we started the list, 1, red, and foo. Pretty simple material there, but worth knowing. You'll note also that instead of printing as a list, because we addressed them individually, they printed out as strings. And they're always going to be strings when we take them from the command line like this. So let's just take arglist 0 plus 3 up here, and, well, 0 is not going to work. Let's always just choose 1 because we know that 0 is going to be the name of the script we called. So arglist 1 plus 3, and it'll only accept, or rather only engage, one argument that we pass it. So let's run that again, and we'll just put 1 as the argument we put in. What happens is it gives us an error here. It's saying cannot concatenate string and integer objects. And what's happening is arglist 1, even though we put it in as 1, it's coming out as a string. So if we're looking to use it as an integer, we'll need to use the int function to coerce it into integer form. So let's do that, save it, return to our shell, and run it again. Prints out 4. Let's say we want to know what 77 plus 3 is. Why, it's 80. So nothing too terribly wild or complicated there, but that's the way that you accept input from the command line. You can store it in variables, you can iterate through it as a list, you can do all sorts of other stuff with it, and that is a very basic peek at how to get started. So again, this is Ed for my Bring Back. I appreciate your sense of adventure as we forge ahead into new subjects with Python. Keep coming back. I'll keep providing you new material, try and keep it interesting. Go ahead and subscribe and share this with folks, and we look forward to producing new material for you on a regular basis.